Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mark Loeffler Experience. Today we're going to talk about the wealthiest property owners controlling 1/4 of residential real estate value. Now, this is from the Maple, readthemaple.com, which in my investigations may be a bit of a left-leaning paper. But I'm going to let you guys go. We're going to go through a couple other sources. We're going to link the article down below, but it has been floating around on a couple of Facebook groups that I'm part of. I just like to, basically open the curtains. But before we get into that, this video, as always, is brought to you by Catano Loeffler Real Estate Services. If you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate, definitely give us a call. And right now is a great time to be investing. Also, we are actually having our first meetup on May the 3rd in Hamilton. So if you're interested, we'll put the link down below. It's an Eventbrite. Looking forward to seeing you guys out there. Definitely come and have some fun, and we'll have some drinks and talk real estate and investing and whatever else everybody wants to talk about. Right, so here we see wealthiest property owners control 1/4 of all residential real estate value. So that's a pretty substantial headline. And obviously, I understand in the media that if you don't give people clickbait, nobody clicks on it. And it's the same for me. If I don't give you clickbait, you guys don't watch my stuff. So I'm sorry, but it's your fault, not mine. New published data from Canadian Housing Statistics Program Tuesday revealed that the extent of deep inequalities in this country's housing market. The report found that the owners of multiple properties possess almost 1/3 of all residential properties, and the wealthiest 10% of owners control approximately 1/4 of all residential housing value. Okay. So my mind just goes to, yeah, right, the 10% of the wealthiest 10% control approximately 1/4 of all residential value, not properties. So that's just saying, hey, we got Drake here with a $100 million mansion in the bridle path. Let's compare that $100 million property to, the condo down the street. The $500,000 condo. I don't know, you probably can't buy a condo in Toronto for now for $500,000, but I think you get my point. That's 20 times the value of this smaller property. And maybe they have a $10-20 million cottage. Maybe they have $1 million cottage. It doesn't matter, right? Like, that's the thing that this article really just glosses over to make a political point, really. It's what it feels like is going on. Obviously, they're saying that they're non-political, but I always I try to not be political on this channel. I try. And yet, I still get comments down below, well, we know who you're voting for. I'm like, well, yeah, maybe you do. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to be non-political. I'm just trying to say, hey, this is good for us, this is bad for us. And the bad stuff, here's what you can do to take advantage of this situation. And this is what I'm doing to take advantage of this situation. The article tells us that the government programs and initiatives are too fixated on creating more market housing supply, which is being sapped up by an increasingly concentrated class of deep-pocketed investors and housing speculators. If you create more supply, then more people are going to have the opportunity to buy things. Prices should come down. Even if those people are investors and they're buying things, that means there's going to be more rental units on the market, and rental units will come down in price because there's more competition. That's how that works. That's how supply and demand works. And I don't know if you've been around for the last 6 weeks, but the Canadian government has done a really, really good job of putting the brakes on free money. Obviously, fixed rates have gone up. They're over 4% right now. Variable rates are climbing. We went up 100% last week, and in June, they're probably going to go up another 50%. Some people are calling for it to go up to 4% by the end of the year. I don't know about that. That seems a bit high. But let's be honest, when we talked about Scotiabank raising rates, or they said we're going to see 9 interest rates increases this year, and we all said that was crazy. Now they're not looking so crazy. That's not like we're up 3 already, so we just need 2/3 more. And that would take us to 2.5, which is 150% higher than we're at right now. So they're talking about changing the regulations around housing and going into taxation rules and kinds of structures of the housing market. We won't solve the problem. We're just going to continue to add more expensive housing into the marketplace. We've talked about this a lot. The government has no interest in fixing the demand side of real estate. They do not want real estate to go down in price. If real estate goes down in price, people stop using their house like an ATM, and the economy will falter. The economy will slow down because people aren't going out and they're not going to renovate their houses. They're not going to buy new cars with that money. They're not going to go on vacations. They're not going to eat out. They're not going to live beyond their means. And the government needs people to live beyond their means to get growth. Those who own multiple properties, the CHSP report explains, hold properties to receive rental income or for other investment purposes, or as recreational properties, which may also include rental income. Yeah. Well, I mean, let's look at what I personally own in real estate. I own my principal residence, which we live as a family. I own a cottage, which I do not receive any income from, but my neighbor owns the cottage. He uses it for his family, but they do rent it out to people as well. I own a condo that my parents live in. So I don't receive any rent on that. And that's what I own personally. Obviously, you guys know I own a portfolio of properties in Edmonton. That's through a corporation. I don't know how that works in this scenario. Purchasing additional properties increases competition in an already tight market. Well, that's true. If there's more demand and not as much supply, prices will go up, making it harder for first-time home buyers to purchase a home. So it is already easier for a first-time home buyer to buy a home than it is for an investor. Investors have to put down 20%, whereas first-time home buyers can do 5% CMHC financed. So they get the lowest rates, they get rebates on land transfer tax and all these other things for closing costs. So it's already easier for a first-time home buyer. Now, I'm not saying it's easy for a first-time home buyer. I'm just saying it's easier. Yet again, people are using their houses like ATMs, and they're using this money to buy more properties. So it's self-perpetuating. And by the way, the government makes a lot of money when people buy houses, land transfer tax, HST on things. When people buy houses, they typically spend a certain amount of money when they buy, which again, feeds the economy. Again, they talk about the data revealed that the wealthiest 10% of individual property owners earn more than the bottom 50% combined. So I earned more income. I don't know why this is relevant to this story. It boggles my mind that, of course, okay, you got the top 10% of the income earners. So were you now saying that this is an income issue? Is this the problem now in the world that it's an income issue? I know a good friend of mine who owned a lot of rental properties. He constantly said that we don't have the rental prices aren't the issue, obviously. I mean, there's supply issues. I get that in the rental market. He's saying incomes were the issue. And we talked about this, I think, on the last video or the video before, where they could support that. They could say, okay, we will subsidize that housing stock for you, not make a private landlord do it for you. I don't know. They just go on and bash the top 10%. Obviously, top 10% received a lower share of total income. Bottom 50% contained 5 times as many owners as the top 10%. Okay, well, that makes sense. I don't understand. That means a lot of people own homes. Here's the home ownership rates in 2016, 2015. 2006, you can see, I mean, Canada is 68.47, almost 68%. Ontario, we did go, we're 70%. So 7 out of 10 people own homes, 30% are renters. When you compare that to Quebec, 60% are homeowners and 40% are renters. It's just Again, a lot more European there. And you can see like most of them are above the average. I mean, obviously Newfoundland, Labrador, like 75, 77% of people are homeowners. So, I mean, there's a high rate of home ownership in Canada. And I don't understand why we think that everyone should be a homeowner. Is that the goal? Is 100% home ownership? It's not everyone's going to be a homeowner. Some people are going to rent because they're only there temporarily. New people to Canada are going to rent because they're going to come in and they're like, oh, well, we don't know if we want to live here yet, or maybe our job will change in the next year or two. So why buy something and have all those costs, especially in somewhere like Ontario, which is very high cost to purchase a home? Then, I can rent and there's labor mobility. It's like, okay, great. I give my 2 months notice and I'm gone. And again, they're just referring to the housing wealth. I think we've already talked about this. You have a $100 million home over here and a $500,000 home here. Well, of course, they're going to hold more real estate wealth. Are we saying that Drake shouldn't buy a $100 million home? Which, again, feeds the economy. Urban homeowners make double the income of renters. Okay. The report, in Toronto, median income among owners was $55,000 per year compared to $25,000 a year for renters. Like, why is this newsworthy? Is why, I guess, that's typically the case. So 70% of our population owns a home. 30% are renters. The people who own homes make more money than the renters. Is that the homeowner's fault? Basically, now they're ripping into the liberal thing. They're saying, hey, the liberals promised all this stuff and then reiterated with the liberal NDP confidence and supply agreement. And they all thought the left wing were slavering over this. They thought we were getting 75% capital gains tax. They thought they thought they were going to bring the world down on investors in Canada. And lo and behold, they didn't. And they understand that if they did that, that would cause a crash. There would be a housing market crash, and especially if they, tax principal residences and these types of things. They understood that, so they didn't do it. Basically, they call, what they did was low-hanging fruit, 2-year ban. They promised, if you resell a property after 12 months or less, we kind of went through that. All these things, they didn't change. That didn't change anything. If I'm buying a house to flip, I'm paying business income on it. That's not changed. I guess that really is going after the people who are doing assignments of condos, units, and stuff like that. These are just headlines, and I do like this website, betterdwelling.com. Everyone let me know what they think. I mean, obviously, I think these articles are biased. Is everybody entitled to home ownership? 7 out of 10 Canadians already have home ownership. I get the 3 out of 10 that don't, they're being left behind. The wealth gap is immense. The income gap is immense. Does 100% home ownership make sense? We're never going to reach that goal, number one. So what is the goal? Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. May 3rd, we're going to all meet up in Hamilton and we can have this discussion in person over some drinks. It'd be great to see you guys all there. Thanks again for watching. Catch you guys next time.